first few days, maybe 2-3 weeks of a patient with stroke or maybe after brain trauma. In this early stage, we meet quite often people that have somehow a speech problem. Mainly you see it with patients, they have a right-sided paralysis. That means the left brain is affected and they have a problem. So when that neurological problem is associated with a speech problem, in an adult person it's called aphasia. So it's a loss of the ability, the skills to speak. Now when we go to this patient and we assess the patient, listen carefully. You just talk to the patient or you observe the patient talking to somebody or somebody talks to the patient. Listen carefully. Is the patient able to speak? He speaks maybe not articulated well, maybe you cannot hear, but is he speaking? Is he speaking in the normal speaking pattern? If you say, maybe. Now, can you answer the same thing but not articulating if you would have a point interview? They say, like this, okay? So sometimes you can hear the thinking in words and the will to talk in words is there, but the words are not coming out really. They are somehow, sometimes like watery, washed away. But the patient is able to access to speech. He didn't lose the speech inside in her brain, in the memory, but the mouth, the muscles of the throat here, of the speech box, the mouth, they are no longer coordinated, maybe the tongue, so you cannot articulate nicely. Have you seen patients like this? They tried to talk, but the tongue was not moving properly. Have you seen patients like this?
Yes.
So this is a type of disturbance of speech. It's just a motoric problem. The articulation, the speaking out of the word is not proper because the muscles of the lip, of the tongue, of the throat are not working properly. We call this dysarthria. This is dysarthria. It's on the motor side of the problem. Then you have another type of aphasia. The patient can make the noise, he can make sounds, everything, but he doesn't understand any more speech, or maybe he understands, but he wants to say something, and something completely different come out of his word, of his mouth. Yesterday we had the patient, he wanted to say andate, he continuously said me. He could see that I'm not a me, but it just came. Or when he was a little bit stressed, he wanted to say ea, he said me. Automatically. And I was asking him, and he said, no. So it made me understood. He thinks in words, he wants to say something, but something completely different comes out. So his grasp to the proper word for the proper thing is not there anymore. This is another type of aphasia. This has to do because we've learned language as a child, isn't it? We've learned to give name to objects, to things. Let's say a chicken. The child can see the chicken because before it knows it is a chicken or it is whole. It can see that animal running around, making maybe producing an egg, making like this on the floor. The child knows this is that animal. Okay? The mother takes care in the evening, even putting it into the house. It knows that animal, but then it learns, we call that animal whole. And then this is remembered in the brain. Somewhere in the brain there is a memory for all these names and the objects. So we memorize that toy is running around making the egg, making that noise is whole. So it's memorized. So in a neurological problem, it can be that that memory somehow is not accessible anymore or that it is deleted. So the patient doesn't know anymore that object or how it is called. Even he knew in the lifelong, it is deleted in the brain. So the problem that he cannot say the proper word, he cannot say andate, is because he has no access to that memory. He has to learn it again. This is another type of aphasia. This is more central, is more in the brain. The other aphasia, the dysarthria type, is that the brain works perfect in language, but the muscles are not coordinated. The muscles are somehow in imbalance. They are not reacting, or the perception of the face of the mouth is not good enough, so it is not well articulated. So when we go to the patient and we establish a relationship to the patient, we observe, is that aphasia only on the side of speaking out the words, or is it on that other side of the elaboration of language in the head? Did the patient lost access to language? So this is the first step when we meet a patient with aphasia. Puoi mettere il logo?